Hey guys, today on Walk with Will I have Gabriella with Goosehead Insurance, and she's going to tell us the different types of flood insurance. Everybody don't know what it really is, what it does, what it covers, and how it can affect you. So thank you for coming today.
I'm thrilled to be here. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here.
So tell me, what are the different coverages of, first of all, what is flood insurance?
So flood insurance is actually what's going to cover you in the case of a flood. So what's absolutely wild is that your home policy obviously has so many different water coverages, right? But if that water is determined to truly be from a flood, you're absolutely screwed. You're not going to have coverage. So that flood insurance is very important, especially in any type of Houston area. We've seen floods just do wild things. So it's very important to actually know your area, know all the zones. So there are a couple zones, and a lot of terminology gets thrown out. So the very, very basic is a lower risk zone is going to be X. A more high risk is going to be called A or AE. So little things like that, when your insurance agent is talking to you, if it's not me, it's very important to know what they're talking about. So I know we were kind of discussing different carriers as well. So for quite some time, there's literally been only one option for flood insurance, which once again is insane, right? It's a nationally backed FEMA, so that's good. So this is still a really good option if you are in a very, very high risk zone, because they truly are required to insure you. That is literally their job. So that's going to be called FEMA NFIP. That's pretty much interchangeable in that way. So this is essentially, if you're in the AE zone, you're probably going to go with that option.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I just want to, because we're talking about different zones and different things of flooding, and I hear that, your home coverage is one thing, and then the flood thing is different. So you're telling me when little Johnny stops up the tub because he stuck his submarine down the toilet and it overflows and everything falls, that's how's that covered? Is that covered in the flood?
So that's actually not even covered in a standard home policy. So that's an actual endorsement. So that's going to be called water backup or sewer backup coverage. So that truly is for a sewer that backs up, a toilet that backs up, any type of plumbing that backs up is going to be what that covers. So once again, flood is truly just going to be weather related.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So you talk about different zones. So is there going to have markers around saying, hey, well, this is an A zone, and this is, how would they find out?
Unfortunately, that's not really going to be information that's readily accessible. Luckily, I can actually very quickly generate a flood zone determination map. And what's so nice about that is even if you're in a low risk zone, you'll actually be able to see all the zones around you, and it's in color. That breaks it down, so that's always easier as well. So you can actually see, if I'm right here, the neighborhood next to me is actually very high risk. It might be a really good idea to go ahead and put that coverage in place. So we talked about the FEMA. So we also now have private flood carriers, and these are just so crucial because they give people options, and they give a couple extra coverages that FEMA is just not going to offer. So with the NFIP policies, it's going to be very standard coverage. You cannot go more than $250,000 on your dwelling coverage. On your personal property coverage, you cannot go over $100,000. So obviously, for a lot of us, especially after we accumulate things over years and years, that's just not going to work, right? That's not going to be enough coverage. So with private flood carriers, they actually offer loss of use coverage. So that truly means in the event that you can't live in your home because you have flood damage and it's being repaired, that loss of use coverage kicks in to cover rent. If you even had to go into an apartment short term, it even covers things like you not being able to cook in your kitchen. So you're going to eat out literally every single day. So that coverage will kick in for that. And then obviously with dwelling and with personal property coverage, we can basically put that wherever you would like. So those are some of the advantages.
So what you're telling me is that I can go get a penthouse and have room service every day.
So you get to pick your limit.
Okay.
So it's not unlimited loss of use.
Oh, okay.
You do get to
I was trying to go to the top and be like,
well,
hey.
if you want to plan on it for just being a couple weeks, I bet you could actually do
But
that.
so say for instance though, since we say that, is there a limitation of how long? So, because I know certain floods, is that it destroyed the home, and it's going to take probably about 5-6 months to build.
Mm-hmm.
So how long will I be able to stay in this place and, you know, while they're fixing it?
So that coverage is truly for a 12-month period. So when we're writing a flood policy, they are the annual policy is what we're looking at for all flood policies, right? And that truly means that per incident, so hopefully you would never have more than one in a 12-month period, God forbid. But it literally, that is the amount of coverage you have in that 12-month period while your policy is active. So also with private flood carriers, this is so crucial for most of us. Quite frankly, they have actual payment plans as well. With NFIP, it's full pay. And there's just not options there. With private flood carriers, you can do monthly, you can do, 2-pay, 4-pay. There's just options for normal human beings that don't want to just throw a chunk of money out there. While it's wise, also difficult for some people.
So I noticed you mentioned a high area and a low area, and you say you have graphs. So, what really consider a high area? Because I know I hear like somebody can literally, and if I'm wrong, let me know, literally live here and cross the street and be in a high area.
So there's actual homes that are split, that literally half of their home is in one zone, the other half is in another zone.
So would they have to flood?
I mean, so those actual guidelines, those are still completely determined by FEMA.
Okay.
So they will remap zones as needed. So after Harvey, obviously they remapped everything because that was just a wild experience for everybody. So it really is, that's why the map is so crucial, to be able to look at it, because there is not even a trained eye that can walk around a neighborhood and be like, that's X, that's AE, it's just not gonna happen.
Oh, wow. Well, I know there's a whole lot of information that you're giving here, and we can probably go on and on forever.
For days.
So can you tell them how can they get in contact with you?
Oh yeah, so you can text me or call me. My phone number is gonna be 832-792-9694, or you can always contact me through email. That is going to be gabriella.cockburn@goosehead.com. And I would absolutely love to hear from you, honestly, even just to be a resource. So even if you just need a bit more information, I would absolutely love to just help you out, because information is free. So.
Well, guys, you heard it here, and I tell you what, it doesn't hurt to find out where you at, where you lie, what kind of information that you need. If not for you, maybe for a loved one. And remember, when you have will, you have a